Okay, so today I'm just going to do a quick review video. Unfortunately, I can't do a quick unboxing as I have already opened it. I got a little excited when I got it and forgot I wanted to make a video. But it is the Backpack Camera Strap, PGYTECH. When I was looking at buying this, I couldn't find any videos apart from a promotional video on YouTube. Now, that doesn't mean there isn't any, but I couldn't actually physically find any. And I was looking for a while. So I figured I might as well just do a video. So if anybody's looking at it, they can make a bit more of an informed decision. So in this box, as you can see, you get the two straps, you get the quick beads, and you get the little metal ring adapters. Two little metal ring adapters. It cost me about £40, I think it was, maybe like $39.99. But we'll just round it up to the 40 because it's a bit easier to digest of a number. So this is from PGYTECH. I have previously bought two of their products. I have bought the larger neck strap and the wrist strap. And the only thing I can say about it is I love them, and I genuinely have no interest in going with anybody else. They are cheaper, they do the same job, they take up less space on your camera, and with the beads that exist, like this, it doesn't matter which way around you put it on, it'll swivel, don't get tangled up, and it's very easy to put on and off with one hand. So it's one of the reasons why I liked them over other competitors, but again, price played a big part in it. So sorry, I've got a cold. So the reason why I decided to get this, because I've got the strap, the neck strap, and the wrist strap. The reason why I wanted to get these is because they would look sort of like a bit of a waste of money to get. But this is the reason. So I have one of the devices sorry, my bad. I've got one of the devices where you can attach it to your bag, where you put the camera in. Because I can't hold two cameras at once. So on my bag, let me just move this out of the way. On my bag is here. So whilst I'm not using one camera, I can put one camera on the bag and it's safe. Right. No big deal. Even I want to get another. I actually want to get two at some point. I want to get another one just so that if I'm not using either, it makes no difference. So we'll be using that bag again in a second. I do apologise for the coughing. So that's why I wanted to make a video, because this is what I saw when I saw it. Because I was a bit like, I wanted to look for videos because I wanted to see if they were any good, or like, I mean, the stuff's good. I knew they'd be good, but I was like, was it justified? You know, you look for videos, you're like, well, can I justify what I'm getting? Is it worth my time? So this was my thought. And I'll go into the quality in a minute. So this was my thought is, if I need a second neck strap, I can hook them together, and the way that they are, I can stretch it out, and I have a spare neck strap. That is a bare bone use. That would not be something I would do intentionally unless I had to or needed to do it very quickly. The other thing is that you can attach them to your bag, so you'll have them attached like that, and then you can stretch them out, keep them like that, whichever way around. I'm not going to do it just for space, but like you could have that hanging, and then you could have your camera. So rather than having to have a neck strap around your neck and your bag, you can have these quick catched, and then it'd be like that around your neck, but attached to the bag, so you've not got that strap going around your neck. So that's probably the main thing that they advertise. Now, this is the reason I got it. Is even though I have that strap that attaches the thing to your bag, I'm in the mindset of that I trust it, but I also worry about it. So whilst it is, let's say, on my bag, so we're going to get the bag again. I have this connected to my bag. I do apologise for the sniffling and coughing. I'm really not well today. So let me stretch it. Let me just open it up again. Right. So this is where I thought this was where, in my opinion, they really shine. This is. I mean, like I said, you can still do it where you have them attached like that, and then you have it on your camera. So you have it like that, and it's on your camera. and you use it like a neck strap, which I think's omitted. By the way, if you're like me and you take pictures, I just keep my bag on my back all the time. I know people say it can be inconvenient, or you know, somebody who hoards all the stuff all at once. But you know what? I don't really care. It doesn't bother me. I've just always done it. I just prefer to have my stuff, and I prefer to have it on me. I don't like to put my bag down. People can steal stuff. So this is my thought. Whilst that's attached to my bag, and that's on, there's two scenarios. There's a few scenarios here. This now means that if this fails, this will catch it. If this fails, that's still attached. That's one of the biggest reasons I've got it. It now, because what I was doing is I was putting my neck strap around my neck whilst it was on here, because I'm just like, ooh, a bit like, you know, freaking out a bit. Yeah, I trust them, but it's something I'm still getting used to, is those things. And I do trust it, but I'm like, you just don't know if it'll fail one day. So to have this would just give you that safety. Now, this is where another thing is like, and then when you're out and about, if somebody decides to try and steal your camera or anything, they've got to untie this, they've got to take that off, and then simultaneously take that off. So you've also got this added security. Now, this is where the bit those are like two of the most important things. This is the other one I was thinking about. So I was using my two cameras. I've only just got two cameras. The first time I've ever had two cameras at once. And I've got a full frame and an APS-C, and I use them for different things. The APS-C has the better autofocus, and it's better for fast-moving subjects and other things like that. So that is my usage there. And then this one is my portraits and landscapes. Now, when it comes to swapping over the camera, there's a point where I want to take one off and put one on. Now, the problem with that is at some point, there's one of them's going to be hanging and they're going to be loose. And just 2 seconds. Winter time, yay! And so I can't afford to be dropping them in my place. I just can't. It takes everything for me to get anything like this. So I guarantee that 99% of the people that have equipment are the same way. They treat it like it's gold dust. Like, you know, it's like a bull in a china shop. You don't want to do that. You just like, you practically hold it. You're protecting it. You're gripping. That's why I've got the case. That's why I've got the hard case around. So I've got more grip. And yeah, there's just multiple reasons. We're not going to get into that. So these, I find, is I can attach both my cameras at the same time. I can swap one camera out and put one camera in, and I can, you know, jiggle these around pretty quickly. So eventually I might have a second clip at some point, so I can just put one in, hook it on, done, dusted. Or you can even use it whilst it's on it, because you got the bit of lens. So if you really want to stay safe with it, you can do. Like, I think, like if I went to London or somewhere like where people snatch stuff, I'd have my wrist strap on. It would make it a lot harder to steal. But this would be an added. So this would be something that I could add to it for that reason. Anyway, so it would help. And if you're ever out and about and you want to change your lenses, I've had this problem where it's hard to take my bag off or get lenses out or swap lenses off without my gear like hanging down or whatever. I mean, right now it's not in the best position for that, but I don't always put my bag on the floor. I can get it out. If I have somewhere to hook my camera, or I'm changing lenses, or I'm doing something, I can keep my hands free, knowing that my camera and stuff is safe. So I just wanted to make like a video on that. So what I'm going to do now is, I know a lot of YouTubers and whatnot would normally do it the opposite way around from what I've done, but I wanted to explain the reasons for why I got it and reasons that other people. Now, I definitely think there's definitely a lot more applications to this. I think the neck strap is probably one of the. If I was to suggest to anybody to get anything, I would be like, the wrist strap is amazing. It's small, takes up belly space, it's strong, and every time I get one of these, I always do a drop test. So I've got like these tags, especially with the new ones. I'll get this, I'll hook it on, I'll hover it over my sofa or bed, and I'll just do a really harsh drop and do a quick drop test that it's like, right, is that going to snap the minute it drops for the first time? No, good, excellent. Anyway, so my reason for getting it is for added security, multiple uses. I think being able to clip this together and be able to use it as a neck strap. If you could only buy one thing, you have the neck strap and you have the wrist strap. If you decided, you know what, this is a good idea, and I would say to somebody, if you want something that has multiple uses, the neck strap might be the good one, because you can wrap it around your wrist and stuff. But I think this has a really good bonus. I'm not saying that this is the best thing because that'll rub over time, and I don't know. I don't know the tensile strength of what this would be over time, but I just think a lot like this. This is a good option for maybe not your only option. I wouldn't do this for my only option. I would rather have the neck. I would always get the neck strap first, then a wrist strap. The reason for the neck strap is I can wrap it around my wrist. I can put it around my neck. It can do everything. Bit clunkier, but it can do everything as neck straps are. Wrist strap is definitely my favourite. And then this is something that I've got to add to them. This is more of all-rounder. Instead of using those other ones all the time or having to use them or just, for the reasons I showed, I think this is definitely something that if you have the money and you want to spend on it, it's not the cheapest thing, especially for what you get. It's really not a whole lot. But then, to be fair, I think the wrist strap's probably actually more expensive for what you get. You get like these two, whereas you get the wrist strap, you get one. Let's be fair, the wrist strap only has like one purpose, but the wrist strap is probably one of my favourite things out of all of it. I use it all the time. But this will now be with my stuff at all times. Regardless, I will find a way to use this with whatever setup I've got now. And so what I'll do now is I'll talk about quality. So if you've ever had any PGYTECH stuff or haven't, all I can say is I have not tried Peak Design. I've seen many videos. I did a lot of research beforehand, and the price is what got me to go to it. But I was like, right, well, the price isn't what I'm going to focus on because you can't trust hundreds of pounds worth of gear, maybe even thousands, depending on your equipment, on something like these that were 40 quid. So let's do it in half. That would be about 20 quid on its own. So for 20 quid or 20 pounds or however many dollars, you're going to risk thousands of pounds worth of gear because you can't bother to spend more. So I did my research, and Peak Design seemed to have good reputation, and there was tests. I watched videos, people doing drop tests like I do, and they seem to trust it. I guess essentially it's the same thing as anything like the Peak Design stuff, just this is a different shape and it doesn't twist up, it doesn't get caught. The Peak Design, the Peak Designs are good, but I think they're also bulkier. And it was very tempting to get cheap parts for it, and I was like, no, that's not worth it, not for the sake of whatever. But these are cheaper, and I think everything about their stuff looks nice, and this is really strong. It's like a seatbelt. It feels more like a seatbelt, and it's definitely made like a seatbelt. It's just a small. I'd argue it feels like what you would have on a baby seat, what you would trust a baby in, and I genuinely mean that. That's just how it is. And when I first got the products, because it's all the same product. That was the first thing I noticed. I was like, oh wow, they're really strong, and this bit here, I mean, it's not that isn't breaking. If that goes into there, the first thing that's going to break is the pin. Now, when it's on the wrist strap, I'm not throwing it around. I'm not dropping it. Sometimes I might let it hang, but I'm not putting too much strain on it. But it's meant to be just in case I accidentally drop it. So the idea is that I can have the wrist strap around my hand, and then if I was to accidentally drop it for any reason, or somebody bashes me, it doesn't fall to the ground. It also means somebody can't snatch it from my hand. So on a single one like this, I wouldn't throw it around. When it's got two, like the neck strap, yes. Even if it was to break, you would probably have a second where you were able to catch it. Let's be fair, right? If you've ever had something tied, then it breaks, and because the whole thing has to swing around you. It's like I'm not trying to say anything's going to break, but like, you got this all around your neck, and then one side breaks. It's going to start moving around, and you're going to have, if you're quick enough, you've got enough time to like deal with it. And the weight is distributed between most times distributed between the two hooks, so always safer. But all I can say is, when I first saw this, I was a bit like, oh, that seems a bit thin. And then if I tried to bend that, and I'm putting look, you can see the blood's building up in my finger. I can't bend that, even if I try. Because even though, let's say I did bend it, and it was like, oh, I bent it, I'd rather know beforehand. To be honest with you, I would send it back and be like, no, that's too weak. I'd send it back and go, no, I refuse to pay for that product. If I can bend that with my fingers, a camera swinging on it, or something dropping, basically what this is supposed to do is keep things safe, essentially, and hold things. If it's going to bend, it's no point. If you look at the the little gap, there's a little hook here, so that's not going to fall off very easily. It's not going to pull away. If there was a lot of weight on that, it's going to be pulling on that. So you're safe there. This, yeah, that's fine. I can barely move. That's good. It feels and it looks a bit thin, but I think it's because it's made from a light metal, but it's very strong. And I can just definitely say, you know what? No, now I've seen it and felt it and done a bit of a bend test on it, as it were. Like I definitely would like, right, okay, if I drop my camera, that's going to take the weight. These, I love how easy it is to like make it longer and shorter. To some degree, this can slip a little bit if it's knocked. In very rare cases, you might like grab it with your hand or something, and it might just slip down. I've noticed it can slide a bit sometimes, but problem fixed, really simple. It doesn't really do it much. It's not really an issue. I'm just saying it works by friction, and it doesn't really slide easily. I'm just saying it can if it's knocked, but that's because of how it works. It works by friction. So if there's no friction, but it's like knocked, it will move very easily. But if you had something there and there, so I hold it down with my wrist, and then you were to like pull, it takes a bit. I have to tug on it. But when it's like that, it's not pulling. It's not going to slip down. So you're fine there. It has to have this part of it has to be pulled to move. But yeah, I just thought I'd do a video because when I was buying it, there wasn't any other videos, and I like to do my research beforehand. I like to make sure. I like to see what the uses are, see if I can justify it. And there wasn't anything. There's a promotion material, and that's fine. But the way that they advertise it is it's hooked to the bag, and people have the camera hooked to it the whole time. And I'm just like, well, that's not really enough. It wasn't really enough for me. I just had to pull the plug and be like, you know what? I have an idea for it. I'm going to buy it for that reason. I know the quality of their stuff, and that was fine. This, obviously, I didn't know that because that's to this product. But yeah, hopefully this will help other people decide. I just think if you've got a reason to get it, it's worth it. If you get it for the sake of it, that is a choice, but I wouldn't recommend it unless you've got a reason to get. But like I say, for me, this is going to go in my bag, and these are going to be not so much a neck strap, but rather security strap, so that I can use it on the go whilst it's attached to my bag. If I just want to quickly pull one of them off, because sometimes you might take a picture of one camera, or just take a picture of your camera, and you just want to like, oh, there we go, it's back on, and then you just hook it back in, rather than hooking it all up to your wrist and whatnot. Second of all, yeah, I think it's just going to be a good one for being able to like swap my cameras over without having to juggle it. I'm not going to have to hold one and then be like being awkward. I'm just going to be able to have one hooked up to the other, one hooked up to the other one, and then because I've got one wrist strap, that was the big thing that I noticed. I want to be able to swap the wrist strap over from one camera to the other, or even the neck strap. I thought about buying another one, and I will probably get another wrist strap. But for now, even if I have two wrist straps, I still think this is a really good idea for the security, just for security, for my peace of mind. But it'll allow me to swap and do things without ever having my camera at risk of dropping. And that, for me, is the reason I wanted this. Now that I've got two cameras. When you've got one camera, I mean, you got it hooked off that thing, you could just put your neck strap around the one camera. But if you've got two, you don't. Nobody wants to have two neck straps. And you can get straps that can hold, like, you can put it around your body and you can hold 2 to 3 cameras, depending on which ones you get. But they cost a lot of money, and they're very... Nobody wants to wear one of those whilst they've got a backpack on as well. This allows you to do all that whilst you've got a backpack on. I've seen lots of videos on YouTube and things, and people will wear these camera straps and they'll do jobs and they'll just be doing it. I've never not seen a photographer who's doing anything without the camera bag on their back, unless they have a secondary person holding that bag. Maybe they have a car to put it in, but if you're moving around, you're gonna have your bag with you. So I just have my bag with me. Even if I've got somebody with me, the chances I'm gonna get them to carry the bag is minimal at best, because I'm like, when I want my stuff, I want my stuff. Yeah. If you need it, you need it. It's a very long, drawn-out review. I'm not good at doing these sorts of things. I just talk normally. Yeah. But I just wanted to do, like I say, I wanted to do the review because there was nothing. I couldn't find anything. I think there was like a video where it showed a few products, but it didn't talk about this one in depth or specifically. Quality, fantastic. Reasons I wanted to use it is perfect. That is hooking onto the bag and having it so you can hook to 2 cameras, and I can have that safety line. Essentially, it's like a climbing gear. You have your climbing line, and then you have your safety line, and that's like the clip on the camera, and then the clip to this. I have the safety line, but then I have the spare safety line, but can be used for other things, and that's about it, really. Yeah. So if you're looking at it and you have one of those reasons to get it, I recommend it. Again, if you've got one camera, you can just not worry about it so much. But even if you don't have a neck strap, but you want something like a wrist strap, because like I would argue you could use this as a wrist strap. Now, it's not going to pinch like some of the good wrist straps, but you could have this on your camera and you could put your wrist through it and then have multiple uses for it that way. So you could. This is possible. I will argue with anybody. This is possible to use for every single use. Any of the products, like I currently have the wrist strap and the neck strap, and it could do everything, just with a bit of finagling and maybe a little less comfort or a little less safe, because that's not as safe as one that's going to be pinched around your wrist. But let's be fair, when you're dropping it, if you're going to drop it, you ain't going to be like that and dropping it and let it slipping off your wrist. You're more than likely going to be holding it, and it's just going to drop, like you might get bashed or something. So that's most likely where it's going to be. So yeah, I'll leave it there. I hope this video was helpful.